everyone. My name is Stella BIDA, and I'm so excited to welcome you to another conversation of excellence. Today, I am welcoming a great person, Mr. Kiiza HUSSEIN. He is an international lawyer by profession, but he has so many other multiple hats in global peace, in youth empowerment. And I'm so delighted that he is here with us today. Kiiza is a person that I've met about 1 year ago, actually. And I met him in Rwanda when I was doing my first ever TEDx speech in Africa. Kiiza, welcome to this conversation. I'm excited to have you with us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Stella. I consider this as a great opportunity to meet you once again, though in our own remote spaces. You know, everything now is remote. Mm-hmm. But I really appreciate this opportunity to join your platform, and really thanks a lot for having me. I hope we can, share our own experiences and, learn and inspire, but also educate those that need to learn from us. But also I'm willing to learn from you and your audience, maybe in one way or the other. And I'm so honored to be here. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Kiiza. Thank you. You know, I introduced you and the context in which we met, but I know that you're much more than that. Is there anything in terms of introduction that you would like first to share with the people before we deep dive into other questions? What have I forgotten?
Well, thank you so much, Stella. Really so kind. I feel that you really introduced me, maybe unless you really want me to go in details a little bit. Once again, maybe I can say I'm Kiiza HUSSEIN Saddam. My full names. My own country of birth is Uganda, but right now I live in Rwanda, where I also work in different sectors. One in the legal sector, where I'm the founder of SHK Law Attorneys Law Firm. We're based in Rwanda, but we work in East Africa. And I'm also a Global Goodwill Ambassador, where I champion humanitarian work. We work with different areas. We work in different areas like refugees and other communities where we think that our action can really have impact on people. Then I also work with Commonwealth as a correspondent, as a Commonwealth correspondent in Uganda and Rwanda, including also Commonwealth Youth Council on Constitutional Committee. We have different areas we work on, including World Youth Summit, where I work as Attorney General and also Director, where we all in all these platforms that I serve in or I volunteer to serve on, they are meant to empower people, empower young people, empower women, empower children to stand out and really take on some of the pressing challenges the world is facing. So that's, in a nutshell, that is me. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you, Kiiza. You're really amazing. I'm so happy to have you today, really, sincerely. So, Kiiza, my first question is about all the time you put so much time and energy wearing all these hats around being a global change leader, global ambassador for peace, and all these things that you're doing. What is the underlying reason why you take so much time and invest so much of yourself into all these different hats that you're wearing?
Thank you so much, Stella, for your wonderful question. Answering that question would take me some good years back when I was still a child. I can imagine. I think I was around maybe 4 or 5 when I used to see real big challenges within my community. Maybe I'll give an example. I would see people run away from our neighboring countries, trying to run away from conflicts to find peace. And I can tell you an example like Democratic Republic of Congo, where they have had conflicts for some good time now. Perhaps since I was born, I found conflicts there, and I would see people, children, mothers, running away from conflicts to find areas of peace and harmony. And that would be in our own communities where we didn't have this kind of conflicts. How to see people run away from Rwanda. Rwanda, we know that they had a genocide during the period of 1990s, 1990, 1991 there. Would see, children and women run away, and even some, their husband, that in most cases they would be women and children running out from conflicts, and they would run away with small things that you can easily carry, even those that you didn't imagine that someone would carry, like a goat, like a hen, things like that. I would see them carry them and, come in our communities, try to ask us, where can I sleep for a night as I continue the journey that I'm not even sure where I will end up. So I always felt that these people, they are being denied the peace of mind, the right to live in a harmonious and peaceful environment. And these are children. These are children who should be in school. These are children who should be really trying to adapt to live together in a community. Then on the other side, I would also see challenges that are predominantly existing in our communities. Most typical communities in Africa, you'll find that women are always a victim of domestic violence. They are always denied to go to work because they think they are meant to stay home. And I would see this, and it would really come direct to me, because I would see it either from my mother or from my aunt, then from my neighbors, and I would feel like this world is not really fair enough. So, because I would see that there is some gender that is really on top of the other, and there is nothing like access to equal rights. So those are some of the challenges that I saw, and I thought that maybe growing up, I should be one of these people really contributing to find solutions to some of these challenges. And that's why perhaps I was inspired to be a lawyer, because I thought I should really champion and defend the people's rights, mostly women who are victimized, because of their gender. I felt like I should be this one speaking up, for minority people, for the voiceless. And, even including other challenges. At a later point, we would see landslides in our community because of harsh climate, And I thought, if no one works on this kind of challenges, who will do that? So those were some of my really inspiring moments that I grew up with, and I thought that I should be this one person who can inspire others and also mobilize others to join forces and, create a global mobilization, a global movement where we all speak with one voice and solve these pressing challenges. Thank you.
In your sharing, I see how much what you have lived and experienced during your childhood has not only led you to choose your profession as an international lawyer, but also to wear these different hats that you have, right? My question, the next one is, at which point did you decide to transform the challenges that you have witnessed into something which is actually going to lead you to what you're going to do actually for your life? How do you transform these challenges into something meaningful?
Wow, that's a really an interesting question to ask, because that question not only is required to be answered, but actually also many people find challenges to, down, translate that kind of energy and passion into action related and find results. So for me, I would say how I managed to do this, first of all, was the interest I had in a particular issue. Like it's one thing to know that there's a challenge out there, but it's also the other to have interest in that challenge. So when someone has an interest in something, then you invest more time, you invest resources, and you invest your knowledge and skills to find a solution to that kind of challenge. So I'll give an example. When I had in our community that a landslide came as a result of harsh rainfall, and there was people were buried. Landslides in a mountainous hill and hills. They were buried. I think over 500 people died. These children and women who are most likely, always the victim of that kind of situation. I realized that, what can I do? Should I just also watch news and I feel sorry and I see people suffering and all that? Then I said, no, that can't be the the approach to solving challenges. The real approach would be, what can I do? What can I contribute towards finding a solution? So that's why I came up. I was still thinking in university, and I mobilized my fellow university students. Yeah, I went back to my community, came up with a project that really would address some of these pertinent challenges, issues to do with uh, encroaching on forest, issues to do with mitigation of climate change. How can we make sure that we prevent this from happening? Is by planting more trees, by sensitizing women and families to move away from danger areas and live in a more, more kind of sustainable and more stable areas. So these are things that we have to do. You have to invest your resources, invest your time, invest your knowledge, and take action. The same thing we see today. We see a lot of global challenge in relation to racial inequalities, and we have seen a lot of segregation and racism. But so many people are just watching on news, and they feel that, okay, I can watch, maybe I have nothing to do. And I just say, no, you can't just do that way. There is always something you can do if you really have interest. Just like a business person, if you love your business, if you want to be a business person, you have to start the journey. And the journey requires you to take action. Either you need resources, either you need a network, and then move out there and offer yourself. So that has always been me.
Thank you, Kiiza. Very interesting. I was as you were talking, I was thinking about, in all that you're doing today, what is the biggest lesson that you have learned about being a human being?
Wow, being a human being. Look, I feel being a human being itself is not enough. Everyone can, everyone who lives is a human being. But I feel like your question for me, it is more to do with the real ingrained values of being a human being. Values like, you want to know that if something hurts you, it can hurt someone. That if I feel that if someone really betrays me, I should not betray someone else because they will feel the way I felt. If I see you, if someone abuses me because of my color, I should not do the same to someone else because that person will feel the same, will be hurt. So these are the kind of common values that we need. And in Africa, we call it Ubuntu, humanity. Humanity, we're supposed to be, as one. We feel as one, we share what we have, and we respect each other. We live in a harmonious environment. So for me, that's how I feel that humanity should be. But unfortunately, that's not the case because we have people who feel that for them they are superior to others. You have others who feel because they are rich, they have some kind of level of success, they should undermine and underlook those who are below, who have not been as fortunate as them. Then you have people who have power. Maybe they are in this kind of level of society where they dominate and they have power in terms of politics, and they want to use it to tramp on other people's rights and freedoms. So that has been the challenge of humanity. And my appeal would be, if only we reflect that we all have same blood, no one has a white blood or black blood, it's all red, and we all have to go back to where we came from. That is still unsure where we came from, but we know that you were brought in this world and you have to live, no matter how or where will you be, you have to live. So if we can only reflect on that, then we would come to senses that we need to work together as people and find solutions as people and coexist and live with each other as people and respect each other as people. So that will be the humanity that I really feel that always inspires me in one way or the other. To try to be kind and respectful and empathetic in a situation where I need be. Thank you.
No, thank you, Kiiza, for sharing your vision around that. It leads me to another question. I mean, you are a great leader. You are a global leader. And despite the challenges of today, you're able to, I mean, just to show the way to so many, just to find that courage to go forward and to step in as a leader. And I think for many people, it's not obvious to step as a leader, because you're kind of putting yourself out there in spite of all the challenges, right? And my question is, what would you give as advice to somebody who wants to start the path to leadership in spite of all these challenges, you know? And you've just listed them. They're huge. How do you become a great leader? How do we start from your perspective?
Well, thank you, Stella. Well, being a leader itself, I think they say, okay, to some extent they say leadership, you are born with it. You're born with that kind of, you know, yeah, with that kind of skill and that kind of, composure of becoming a leader. But also, I agree that leadership you can really learn to be a leader, more so within yourself, within your family, within your community. So me, I'll go back to how perhaps I started to think that I'm a leader and act and work as a leader. One is to, first of all, always look for challenges to solve. If you're really this person who always wants to identify challenges where other people don't seem to find solutions, then for you, you come up with solution to those challenges. That is itself is becoming a leader, because you are leading them to find solutions. Everyone can see a challenge. Everyone can see there is a road which is poor. Everyone can see there's children on the streets and they are homeless. Everyone can see that people are hungry, people are poor. But then the one who dares to find solutions to those challenges, those are the kind of leaders. I'll give you an example. Uh, I always want to draw this example of Nelson Mandela. When in South Africa, everyone was, fighting injustices and segregation, and we know what South Africa was going through. Everyone could see it. People were being killed or being, all sorts of injustices were there. But a few of them tried to really find solutions. And among the few ones, the kind of Nelson Mandela, who said, okay, for me, I'll accept to go through this really hard situation of torture, of, prison and all that, but I want to stand for what is right and make sure that our country is freed from segregation, from apartheid. And good enough, he did that. So I think if you want to be a leader, first of all, don't think that you're going there to profit as a leader. Whoever comes with the mentality that I want to profit, I want to make a benefit from this, then you're not really a good leader. A good leader should be this person who is selfless. You're not thinking about yourself, but you're thinking about the community, the people you want to lead. The same with businesses. If you're into business and you're thinking about making money, then you have a challenge, because if it was about money, I don't think it will resonate with the needs of people. You just have to see the challenge you want to solve. If it's a business and you want to create jobs, then that makes sense. Money will come to you later. If it is a leader in politics and you want to find solutions to challenges, people will follow you. It's normal. People always have eyes to see who is honest and who is not. And if they end up following you because you wit to them, you lie to them, then at a later point they will realize, and you will definitely end up failing. And we've seen people who were great leaders and ended up in a different path. So my inspiration is that follow your heart as a leader. If you want to be a leader, find challenges, find solutions, and get out of your comfort and be there. Expose yourself to danger, because leaders are these people who are really exposed to challenges and dangers. You don't want to keep yourself inside your comfort of your home and you think you'll be a leader, because many people want to see you out there do the things that everyone is not doing. People want to see you come out and say, okay, if if we can do this together, be on the front line or behind, backwards. If we can do this together, then we can reach there together. And I also say that being a leader does not always mean that you have to be on the front line to some extent. Sometimes you do wish or even want to pull back and lead from behind. And this is a perspective I always apply in businesses, even in community projects. You need to empower others to be the driving force.
You were saying when it cut that, a leader can also lead, not you don't necessarily have to lead from the front, you can also lead being on the back. Can you tell more about that? When it cut, actually, that's where we were interrupted.
Oh, sorry. I
No
was saying
worries.
that uh, I know many people think being a leader, the word leader means that you're
Mm,
on top. You know, they always translate into real experience things like maybe the president is the leader, maybe the head of the company is the leader, and they always think that you must always lead from the front line or on top. But me, I have a contrary view on that because I feel like as a leader, to some extent, you always need to pull backward. You know, you push from behind, and this approach helps people and even your community, even people in your either project or company. You empower them. If you lead from behind, you empower them so that they can be able to tackle or address some of the challenges that initially you'd be the one addressing. So this will help you that there will be no vacuum if you are not anymore there. If, for example, you decide to quit, if, for example, you decide to move on, you'll have empowered others who will be really be able to serve in your spaces or in your position that initially you'll be the one occupying. And this will definitely also, create continuity and also trust in the people that you lead. So that's what I believe, that you can either be a leader from front or top, but also can also be a leader from backward. And it's good that you do all that as a leader. Thank you.
mm. Thank you, Kiza. Thank you so much. That's a great sharing about the approach that you have, the perspective that you have about leadership. Um, the next question that I have, and I think it will lead us to the last minutes of this. You were talking about in the beginning, the reason why you're doing all you're doing is related to what you have experienced during your childhood, right? If I if you had the
Sure.
opportunity to have a conversation with yourself at 10 years old, so you are today in front of Kiiza and he is 10 years old, what would you tell him?
Well, thank you, Stella. Well, at 10 years old, in most cases, you are thinking of what will I eat? Will I find a cookie at home? Will I find, something my mom has prepared for me to eat? You're thinking these small challenges that you deal with as a child. You want to find food, you want to reach home and watch a cartoon show on the TV. You want to go and play with your friends, with the neighbors. But I feel that if only that we had an opportunity at that age to be as more aware of what is happening or what will happen to us as we grow up, we would give more time to things that really matter. And I can imagine that I would say, yes, Kiza, I understand you have these worries and insecurities as a child, which are normal to have. But
Hmm.
also, I would tell Kiza that regardless of these other small challenges, there's a great life to live ahead.
Kiiza, thank you so much for being part of these conversations and for sharing your different perspectives. It was an honor to have you today with us.
Really, it's been my definitely honor to join your platform.